Holy shit. Sorry about that. That was fucking weird. I just literally, the whole thing just stopped. It wasn't my internet. All of a sudden, OBS said, oh, we can't access your stream key. I was like, what the fuck? What happened? Like, I immediately went to go check. Big Gamer tried to shut down. I don't think so. But, yeah, no, it was really, really weird. And, like, I checked to see if I was banned. I checked to see, like, all of these things. And I reset, not only my stream key, but I reset my password and like all of this stuff and had to go through the authenticator thing, like all of this crap. I was like, what the fuck is going on? So, yeah, I don't know what that was all about. That was really, really, really weird. That was really weird. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Hang on, and because I reset everything, I gotta set this back up. There we go. Okay. We should be good now. That was so weird. But yeah, basically stating, basically the whole thing is that the way that Mutahar wants to go about it and everything else, it won't work, right? I'm sure that he's read it, but I think he's just too passionate and he doesn't want to see that it's not as simple as, oh, just fucking, just have them change the laws, forehead. That's not how it works. The laws have been this way for a very, very, very long time, and so on. Long story short, Mutahar talked about pirate software and so on, and he was also talking about how it was, what's the best way to say it? Like how, yeah, basically he was saying it was unfair, right? And stuff like that. And although, yes, I agree, it is unfair. I really feel like dumping it all on pirate software is not the way to go. I feel like, once again, because of everything that's happened in the past with pirate software, I think he's just an easy target right now, because everybody just wants to point the finger and go, no, 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 he's the one. Which is really shitty. But then again, I also don't agree with, like, the way that a lot of people are going about things. So, for instance, somebody, and I won't name who, because I don't want to give them any fucking credit for anything. But somebody basically said, hang on, I gotta sneeze. I had to sneeze, sorry. I won't give this person credit, because I don't think they deserve any credit. Somebody said, well, my opinion is that if the game is still being supported, that piracy is a crime. But if the game is no longer being supported, then piracy is not a crime. It's called piracy for a reason. Also, thank you, Blue. The reason it's called piracy in the first place, and not just the way, is because the connotation is that it is not something that is legal. Now, I don't agree with people saying that, oh, well, just because, that it's right because it's legal. I don't think that at all. But it's called piracy when it's not legal. And that's the point. Right? So, whether or not this person, and again, I'm not going to give them the fucking credit because I don't feel that their word means much of anything. Although this person does feel that piracy is fine, he's missing out on the big picture that literally the reason why it's called piracy is because it's not legal. There are plenty of things that people do that are not legal, but everybody would generally agree with. But to go onto your platform and to talk to a bunch of people and say, oh, well, my personal belief is that piracy is fine if a game that somebody owns, right, that a company owns, is no longer being supported by the company for whatever reason, then it should be fine to pirate their shit. That's fucking stupid. That's absolutely fucking dumb. Should be after so many years and isn't available to be bought anywhere, something specific like that, not because it's not being supported. No, here's the thing. Think about it this way, right? What happens if they, and here's the argument. What happens, and I'll use Death Stranding as the counter to that. Death Stranding came out in what year? I don't even remember. Hey, Myth, how you doing? Good to see ya. So Death Stranding came out in 2019. So 6 years ago, right? Death Stranding came out in 2019. That was its initial release date. So if they now put a limit on how many years there is a video game out, and let's say for whatever reason, Death Stranding was taken off the market, right? Maybe Kojima decided, I don't like the ending and I really want to change the ending and tie it in and, you know, or maybe add a little bit more or something like that to make it better for people who are going to play Death Stranding 2. And people who have it, who have already purchased it, they can still play what we've got, but we're not selling it anymore, right? So if they put a time limit on it, in terms of how long a game is going to be supported, and let's say that Death Stranding is one of those games that hasn't been supported for 6 years, and 6 years just so happens to be the limit, and then he comes out with Death Stranding 2, and he re-releases Death Stranding with a little bit different of an ending to make people go back and play a game that they loved, whether it be an update or whatever. That's really pushing it, especially during times like these now, where it's not like back in the 70s or 80s where it was like, you know, at times there were people who only had like maybe a couple of weeks to come up with a video game for a game cartridge for the original Atari 2600 or the 5200 or, you know, the Famicom or the Nintendo or any of the Sega stuff, or like, it's not like that anymore. Now it takes years and millions of dollars. So if you put a time limit on it, and then all of a sudden come to find out the reason why there was no support for it anymore is because things were being retooled and rewired and redone, and it's to re-release what's already there to make people go back and go, hey, this ties in now with the latest version of it, then what? Who's in the wrong? Because there's going to be a bunch of people out there who are like, oh, well, I mean, Death Stranding, you know, I mean, fuck, they don't support us, and it's already been 3 years. We should be able to pirate it. What? Why? You see what I mean? It's really a touchy subject, but the thing is that it's not a subject that I feel that anybody can just go for. You know, it's not like we can just sit there and be like, oh yeah, no, this absolutely should be the date, and now we're setting a date, or I should say a timeline of events that further pushes something that is essentially a miracle when it comes to a video game, because every video game that actually makes it, whether it's good or bad, any video game that releases nowadays is essentially a miracle, right? Now we're forcing their hand to do the same job faster. Because if they don't, then literally everything that they worked on previously is junk. right? I'm not saying that there's really a good answer, but I think that's kind of the problem, is that you have a bunch of people who are just like, well, just change the law, forehead. And it's not that simple. You have a bunch of people in office who are older than the concept of a video game to begin with, never had any interest in it. You know what I mean? When I mean years, I mean 15 to 20 years, when they're intergenerational or don't work, something that only works on DOS or XP. Well, they already have something like that. It's called abandonware. Right? And typically what it is, and this is why I say, like, the Stop Killing Games initiative, good idea and concept, bad in execution, is specifically because, again, they may be waiting for patents to run out. So even if they don't do anything with certain things, there may be patents that they have to wait to run out, that they just don't renew before it can finally go up online as abandonware. Like, there is stuff that classifies as abandonware, right? If a company, let's say Interplay, gets bought out by EA, which I believe it did, right? And you want to play Star Trek 25th Anniversary. Okay, cool. But if that game gets bought by EA, along with all the other stuff that Interplay had at the time, because they want to pick up the IP, depending on exactly what laws they had to follow initially when that was when it was made, that may auto renew now that EA has bought them out, or Activision, or anybody, right? It's the same shit over and over and over again, right? Same thing happens in the music industry. When Freddie Mercury dies in the 80s, right? Now all of a sudden the record companies go, oh, fuck. We only had them for X amount of years. Now Freddie Mercury's dead. They're not going to tour anymore. They don't know what's going on, and so on. So what did they do? They put out a special memoriam greatest hits of Queen album, and then literally the entire IP in terms of ownership gets reset. That's why you still have bands like Queen where you can't just go and download their shit for free. The same thing happens in the video game industry. If companies get bought out and stuff like that, that doesn't mean that the product just stops. You have to wait for certain things to pass a certain amount of time, right? So I can't even remember when Interplay was bought out. Maybe they were bought out by Activision or something like that. But let's say that they decide, well, we don't want anything to do with Star Trek, right? Hang on, let me bring up Interplay. Interplay Entertainment. There we go. Oh, perfect. Let me see. June 2004, Interplay's fate was appearing to show once employees were showing up to locked out of the company's offices and other events ensuring. Although Titus's founder, Eric Kane, denied that Interplay was closing, deeming them as being still there. However, by June 7th, it was reported that several California labor investigators had forcefully shut down Interplay's offices over unpaid royalties to developers, unpaid employees, and not issuing any health insurance to them. June 9th, Interplay's offices had reopened after Herb Cain secured the funds to pay the insurance for Interplay staff. On the same day, Titus Interactive announced they were declaring bankruptcy, which made Interplay's future uncertain. In July, they sold Redneck Rampage franchise to Vivendi Universal for $300,000, and in October, licensed the rights to Fallout to Bethesda under a 3-game deal, while Interplay would retain ownership of the franchise, as well as full rights to an MMO title, Fallout Online. By then, Interplay's financial issues began to worsen. And this goes from 2004 up through 2013. It says in August 2013, Interplay acquired the remaining rights to Free Space franchise for $7,500 after THQ went bankrupt in court. Okay. Interplay is co-publishing with 3D Realms a remaster of Xatrix Entertainment's 1999 game Kingpin Life of Crime, which was originally published by Interplay, known as Kingpin Reloaded. The game will be developed by Slipgate Ironworks. This was announced in 2020. In 2021, Interplay via Black Isle Studios released Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance on modern consoles, and later that year also released a PC port of it for the first time. Fair. That was 4 years ago. Now, let's say Interplay gets bought out by EA. All of those different things, Free Space, Kingpin, Baldur's Gate, all of that shit, where does that all go if, let's say, EA bought them out? If those are the games that they specifically want, then the IP resets and the ownership resets. And then you have to go through the whole thing, because now you have to wait 20 years, or you have to wait like X amount of time for them to do nothing with it, and so on. And that's kind of the gotcha. But if it doesn't get picked up and it's just left in obscurity for X amount of time, it becomes what is known as abandonware. So it's a really, really, really tricky thing. But that's why you still don't see quite a few games that are old, whether it be on DOS or XP or whatever, that you just can't get your hands on via any abandonware site, probably because legally they're not considered abandonware yet. It's kind of a shit system, and by kind of, I mean really is. But unfortunately, it is what it is, and what are you supposed to do? You see what I mean? I don't agree with how the system works, but the other thing that I don't agree with is how they're trying to like go through the process of changing it. Especially when you have a bunch of people who don't understand what a video game is, don't understand what people are actually buying, don't know what a EULA is. They don't even know how to fix radio. They don't know how to fix the music industry. They don't know how to fix copyright. So you keep going down this line and getting more and more and more niche, even though the video game industry is growing bigger. And by the time these people in power get there, they're so far in over their heads, they don't know which way is up. Not saying it's a good thing, by the way, but unfortunately that's how it is.
How I use them?
Come on, 6 months isn't that long. It's not like I'm senile.
But you do have a history of amnesia.
I've recovered my memory completely.
Good. That should stop people from taking advantage of you.
Someone's been taking advantage of me.
I have, for one.
I've never even intimated.
We need to hurry.
Novigrad is a state of mind. Understand?
There's a lot more details to stop killing games and whatnot. I have to bring up the thing where Pirate Software was talking about why going about it is a bad idea, because he does it a lot more eloquently than I can. But it was a while ago, and now Mutahar is going out of his way to go, oh, well, he effectively just killed the entire thing.
Greetings, Brandon.
And it's like,
I
no.
didn't expect you to bring company.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make much sense.
Is that a problem?
By the eternal fire, no. I'm surprised, that's all. Together, I expect you resolve things twice as fast. You've the look of true experts. But I'd prefer you not to tarry and begin.
Triss, you and Brandon here. You've agreed a price?
We settled on a full coin purse.
Brandon & Co. is a serious outfit. We've the largest granary in all Novigrad.
All the smart ones quit while they were ahead. And the ones who are too deep just accept sinking. Yeah. And, I mean, that's kind of the sad part of the whole thing, right? Is I understand the passion for wanting to do that, but that also doesn't justify And I'm not trying to sit here and be holier than thou. I'm really, really not. I have no problem, especially when shit is abandonware, to just be like, absolutely, fuck it. I'm downloading it 1,000,000 times over. I'm putting it on hard drives. I'm putting it on solid state drives. I'm putting it on removable hard drive and like yada, yada, yada. I'm doing it as much as possible. But the one thing I'm not going to go out of my way to do is sit there and go, oh, well, I mean, fuck it. Nobody's touched this game in 15 years. Guess that means it's, you know, it's all fair game. And then have to go on to a P2P site to find it, to download it, risk my internet connection because I'm breaking the terms of service. So then I have to sit there and actually get a VPN in order to make sure that I download shit and I'm able to download it safely so that I don't get my internet shut off just so I can play a fucking game that I played 15 years ago and really, really enjoyed. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Even when it comes to emulators, emulators are a very, very gray area, and let's face it, you got really big companies like Nintendo who are now going after those emulators just to show you that this is wrong. You're violating our IP. I don't agree with it, but that's how it is. And the only way for shit like that to change is to actually petition people who are in power to research what the hell is going on and see that it is unfair and to change it because the rules are so antiquated versus just saying, oh, well, then just fucking release it, forehead. You know what I mean?
Don't much like merchants who flatter with cheap praise before the job's done.
That was not cheap praise. I was merely stating a fact.
So am I. I want you to pay in full in advance.
I'm afraid that's impossible.
Then trap your own rats.
Well, now I know why she brought you along. Fine. A full purse of Novigrad crowns as proof of my goodwill.
We need to place these crystals around the granary, near anything that looks rat-related.
He's kind of become a douche nozzle.
I'll cover half the space. You take the other half. Look for evidence.
He's kind of become a douche nozzle that just goes the way the wind blows. I wouldn't even say that. I think the problem now is that he's... I like him, and I think he does bring up a lot of really, really good points, and he's also really, really knowledgeable. But I think the problem is more along the lines of the fact that he's so steadfast in his beliefs that there's absolutely no way that anything else can be right at the same time. And unfortunately, that's what you run into with a lot of people nowadays, right? If they think they're right, there's no other way that anything else can be right simultaneously. So if I were to talk to Mudahar and say, listen, these are the concerns that people have, and this is why Pirate Software brought them up, because this is ridiculous, right? He'd dismiss it. Because he doesn't like the fact that although I'm right, that also means that he 1,000,000% in his mind has to be wrong, which is not the case.
Rat activity.
Thing is, I know what evidence of manticore activity looks like, but rodents?
Geralt, we'd both rather be somewhere else. I'd rather be sitting in a royal council meeting, but they killed my king. Look for crevices and droppings.
Once we place this incense, what then?
I'll cast a spell and the rats will leave.
Can't do that without sprinkling incense? Don't really feel up to looking for rat shit.
Stop whining.
Looks like a good spot. I don't like that guy.
Brandon? I don't either. He's much too fat.
Can't help but agree. But no, notice how he didn't try to haggle?
Must really want the rats out.
Triss, he's a merchant. He makes his living by haggling.
If I worried about that sort of thing, I'd starve to death in this city.
And it just, the whole thing sucks and it's sad.
think I plugged every hole in there.
All right. Get ready for some magic fireworks. Once I activate the incense, we'll have a moment to talk.
Triss?
Well,
Oh, there we go.
now we wait for them to scurry away.
Interesting method. Never had much luck with rats. Once I hit one with a fork in complete darkness, trying to show off my witcher's senses. Masterful throw, really. Problem was, no one else saw it. How could they in the dark?
So, what do you think? Rat catcher? It's a long way to fall from being advisor to Temeria's king.
I'm just glad to see you safe and sound, and...
Reconciled?
Knew a man once who reacted to everything, especially adversity, by mocking it.
Healthy attitude. Must have lived long.
Came a day he lost both his legs in battle. He shrugged, said it was better that way. He'd never feel pain in them again.
I understand him perfectly.
I know. Thing is, he was lying to himself.
I think he just didn't have much of a choice.
You could be right, but only he knows the truth.
We're only ever the ones to know the truth about ourselves.
Which we share at times with those we hold dear.
Even if it's hard to swallow?
Even then.
Who knows? Maybe one day. So, tell me how Yen's doing?
How do you know I found her?
You didn't answer my question. How's Yen?
She's fine.
That's good.
Asking about anything specific?
Never mind. I got my answer.
Well, well. Are lovebirds having themselves a little chat instead of working?
The job's done. Geralt, those are...
I know who they are, Triss.
My friends begged me to notify them if I encountered a mage, sorceress, what have you. Didn't have the heart to refuse.
It's a trap, Geralt.
This stank from the start. If these boys are here to help us kill rats, they're late. You paid up front and got what you paid for. Not half a rodent left in the granary.
I paid in advance because I knew I'd recover my coin.
Such is life for sorceresses in Novigrad these days.
I can see that, and I don't like it. So here's what I think. The hunters have come, and now they can go.
They'll do no such thing.
All right, we've talked. Do what you gotta. Just remember, I can't help but get in your way.
Heard enough from this horse, son.
As have I. Neither is to leave here alive.
Okay.
That bastard hired me on the assumption he wouldn't have to pay me to tempt and trap like a child. If not for you, we need to find Brandon.
Okay. What can I drop? Actually, drop that. There we go. Hang on one second. Let me do a thing here. Save game, yes. I'm gonna exit really quick, and I'm gonna start it up again. Only because I think when I fucked with OBS, things just kind of got really fucky. So I'm just starting it up again. But yeah, that's basically what's going on, and I feel like, yeah, I just feel like it's a shit deal. It's a really shit deal, but I just don't think people want to see reason.
As the Emperor's spies told him, Ciri had reached Novigrad. A lone attempt to find her in the North's largest city would certainly fail. But Geralt had friends he could count on. The Witcher decided to contact Triss Merigold.
Okay, that's a lot better.
Well?
Yeah, that feels a hell of a lot better.
Don't kill me. Good sir, no. They forced me. Had I not told them, they'd have set fire to my home, my warehouse. The mage hunters know no mercy. Spare me, good man. Be not like those murderers.
Shut up. I should kill you. Thing is, you'd be no good to anyone but the gulls as a corpse. So you'll live and pay us double. Now.
Fine. Your coin.
Now, get.
Thanks, Geralt.
No need. Glad I could help.
You know, I've been thinking who might know something about Ciri. And I just got an idea. There's an Oneiromancer in town, Corrine Tilly. Very capable, supposedly.
Never trusted in Dreamer's abilities myself.
Corrine's been very effective. You should at least try. She's taken a job close by. Follow the canal, away from the fish market. The house is near the first bridge. Its owner, De Jonkir, is a rich banker.
Not coming with me?
I've got some things to take care of.
Another rat-infested warehouse?
Not exactly. Nothing even remotely satisfying. Such are the times.
It was nice to see you again.
You too, Geralt. You should go now, before Corrine goes back into hiding somewhere.
What if I want to find you?
I live in the Bits, near the fish market. Stop by. It'll be nice.
All right. See you later.
Oh god, there's a child coughing. Get away.
I've had enough of living.
Dum-de-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum.
An abomination.
Just passing by, wanderer? Or do you seek something specific?
Who's asking?
Rudolf de Jonkir. Of those de Jonkirs, yes. My ancestors laid the foundations of this city. I now own its largest bank.
Didn't need a recommendation. Name would have been enough.
Father always said, all ought to know your merits, son. Don't hide them under a bushel.
I'm looking for Corrine Tilly.
Oh, you've come to the right place, then. Corrine is inside. Been there for a few days, dreaming the home's history.
Why are you standing here?
Not interested in what's going on inside? Seeing it for yourself?
I'm a banker. Cursed homes scare me. Do you know how a haunting can affect property value? Point of fact, Corrine requested she not be disturbed.
Fair.
Why do you need to know the house's history? You a historian or on a whim?
I bought this property a short while ago. Paid a pretty penny, I might add. Soon after, I witnessed disturbances. Led me to fear the home might be haunted.
What are the symptoms?
Oh, they vary. Giggling in the night. and furniture moving about in the attic, and last week... Well, you shan't believe it. I found human feces in the parlor.
So it sounds like you have a bunch of homeless people that are trying to make a living in your attic.
I'd like to go inside, look around.
I don't usually let strangers rummage around my home. Twin swords, though. You're a witcher. You may enter, call that my whim. Truth is, we're already dependent on the Black Ones, economically.
I didn't actually need that. I shall take the fish.
Stop! Go away! Don't do that. Leave it! Put it down, please. That's blood! Don't spill it! Please!
Wake up. It's just a dream. Wake up.
The door. The attic.
So I gotta go to the attic?
Time to check the attic.
Stop! Go away! Don't do that. Leave it!
Some hardy fucking footsteps.
Way to the next room's blocked.
Okay, go back to Igni. Drawing of a crib. Oh, wrong thing. There we go. Paper on which a crib has been hastily drawn by a child, it seems. Okay, looks like there's a doll inside of it. I didn't mean to take the ladle.
Strange stuff.
Ragdoll.
Doll. Drawing shows it lying in a cradle. Maybe I should find one.
A lot of good stuff in here. I didn't need the mug. Put the doll in the crib. I would love to. Where is Lay Crib? Wondering if it's downstairs, maybe?
Put it down, please. That's blood. Don't spill it. Please.
No, don't want any of that.
Stop. Go away. Don't do that. Leave it. Put it down, please. That's blood. Don't spill it. Please.
There we go.
Another masterpiece. An oven and a blackened grate. Oh joy. A riddle. Guess I should find an oven.
Bread hearth, okay. I could have sworn I just saw another piece of paper, but I guess not. God damn it. No, I don't want wire. I will take that dumpling, though.
Boo!
Oh, is that the same godling?
Did I scare you?
No, it isn't.
Scared you, didn't I? Could tell you was scared. Big brave man scared of wee little Sarah. Ain't that funny?
I wouldn't do that anymore if I were you, Sarah. You might scare someone so bad they'll hurt you.
Why would someone hurt me? Having a spot of fun's not allowed anymore.
What are you playing?
That lady fell asleep, and I've sent her some horrible dreams. I'll not her wake neither. I can do that, you know. Funny, isn't it?
Very funny. Thing is, I gotta talk to the dreamer, so I'd like you to let her wake up.
Little Sarah doesn't want her to wake. Little Sarah wants to play.
You're lucky. I know you're a harmless godling, but others might not know, and then...
And how'd you know I'm a godling, eh? How's that, eh? Eh?
If it looks like one and acts like one, trust me, you're a godling. You give the dreamer nightmares and won't let her wake up. Why are you tormenting her?
I'm not tormenting anyone. Scary dreams are great. What I love is when this big end chases me. End's got these red...
Why do you live in a haunted house?
Tell you a secret. The house ain't haunted. Not one bit. I just pretend it is. Make everyone think that. It was sitting there all empty, so I moved in. Bigwig from the bank then came and bought it. I don't like bankers, especially not to live with, so I decided to give him a scare.
Gave the banker a really big scare. See, he paid a lot for this house and won't give it up easily, which is why you need to find another home.
I don't want to! I don't! I won't!
Kind of hurts me people have the time to push creators into something themselves from a Reddit. That's why I've been out most of the week. I missed Unless the profanity filter turned back on, which is entirely possible. Hang on. Let me see something. Chat appearance, deleted messages, pause chat, scroll only. No, don't want slow mode. Oh, Jesus, did they? Holy shit. That I didn't know what happened. They were an animal caretaker? What the fuck? Hang on. Rains was their last name? Michaela Rains? Animal rescue activist. Yeah, what? Okay, just... Holy shit, hang on. NBC News wants all my fucking information. There, okay. Kayla Rains, founder of Minnesota Save a Fox Rescue, dies at 29. Minnesota-based Save a Fox Rescue, who found fame on YouTube for her devotion to helping animals, has died by suicide at 29, according to her husband. In a video published on her rescue's Facebook on Monday, her husband, Ethan Rains, announced she died on Saturday. From a young age, she dedicated every waking hour of her life to helping animals, whether it was helping a snapping turtle cross the road or saving 500 foxes from a terrible fur farm. She was never in it for fame, money, or personal gain, said Ethan. He said his wife saved hundreds of animals in her lifetime, in addition to being a wonderful wife and caring mother. He said in the video his wife struggled with autism, with depression, with borderline personality disorder, and more, and was an advocate for autism awareness. He went on to say she endured a lot of online bullying, most recently from people she considered close friends. If you only have negative garbage to say, just shut up, he said. And if you are feeling lost and hopeless, please reach out to someone, whether it's friends or family, or calling a hotline. Which is true. He says he plans to hold an event in her honor where everyone can come here and pay their final respects. I gave Michaela all of my love and energy, and I will do the same with this rescue going forward. He said, as long as you are all here to support us, we can do this. Michaela Rains founded Save a Fox in Lakeville in 2017 and was soon at odds with the city council for violating her permit by taking in more than twice the number of foxes allowed and by expanding the fencing on her property, according to city officials. 90% of the foxes that come through here are getting rehomed, she told WCCO in 2017. I consider them my family. Despite her permit loss, she received $60,000 in donations in just 3 months, leading her to open a bigger operation near Faribault in Rice County. Michaela Rains told WCCO she began caring for the animals as a teenager, first taking in a fox when she was 19. The foxes needed a place to go, so I want to make that happen, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to do that. And this is all done by online bullying? Hang on. Michaela Rains. Online bullying. Yeah. There, oh my god, I fucking hate all these pop-ups and shit. For a few years, a group of people had been throwing dirt on Michaela's name in the rescue. Most of these are people she knew, he said. Ethan is talking. They consistently spread ridiculous claims and rumors, and being the sensitive human she was, Michaela Michaela took it all to heart, and it hurt her. While he shared that she pushed through, continuing to save the lives of hundreds of animals on top of being a devoted mother to their daughter Freya and a loving wife, as time passed, the bullying became more personal. Recently, more of the rude words, accusations, and name-calling came from some of those she considered close friends. She felt as if the entire world had turned against her. She had always battled with borderline personality disorder, causing emotional instability, as well as impulsive behaviors, but this time it went too far. For 15 minutes, Ethan Raines performed CPR on Michaela until paramedics arrived and took over, but it was too late. Jesus. That's sad. That's really fucking sad. That's insane. You know, the worst part is that there are going to be people out there who are just going to be like, well, I mean, it's Reddit. It's online. What the fuck? Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And we all know, by the way, who I'm talking about. I'm not going to say their names. I'm not going to give them credit. But we all know who exactly it is, you know, exactly the people that I'm talking about, who are going to be like, I mean, it's Reddit. What are you doing on Reddit? What are you doing online if you can't fucking handle it? You know exactly who I'm talking about. That's bullshit.
Sarah, Novigrad's no place for a godling. But if you want to live here, that's your business. So let's make a deal.
A deal? What kind?
Leave the dreamer alone. In exchange, I'll tell the banker the house is haunted. For good, no way to lift the curse.
You tell him that? What if he doesn't believe you?
I'm a witcher. He'll believe me.
Yes? Yes? Yes! Do that and I promise not to bother your friend. Not even a little. You're awfully nice, you know.
I don't hear that often. Thanks.
Now go wake that sleepyhead. I won't stop her. She'll get up.
Not even the people you were trying to make it seem as were caught saying that stuff. Oh no, I know they weren't. But they have no problem saying shit like that about other people, and that's the problem. Right? That's always the problem. Is that the narrative of, well, it's online and shit like that, right? It only fits when everybody is genuinely sad and they know that it's not going to give them any brownie points. Okay? Because if it was anybody else, I guarantee that these people would sit there and go, well, I mean, it's Reddit. What the fuck? If you can't stand the heat, don't be online. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. So, yeah, like, it's sad. I get why you weren't online. I get why there were a lot of people that weren't necessarily online. I understand it. And it is really sad. There was a study of tweens done that showed that they would never say horrible things they said online to someone's face, and that was because they felt like they had no consequences to anything they said and did online. Of course not, because if you say something like really, really mean to somebody and you say it to their face, chances are you're probably going to get your fucking throat punched. Right? And then you end up in the fucking hospital, and then when your parents show up and they go, okay, what happened? And they finally get the full story. Not only do you have to sit there and deal with the ridicule because you were a fucking idiot, you're also going to sit there and probably be grounded for life plus an ass beating. This is why Reddit should just be nuked from the face of the earth. No, in all honesty, I think I think something else should happen. I think everybody who's on Reddit and visits it and is part of these kinds of subreddits that do nothing but talk shit about people, regardless of who they are, their IP should be logged. You should have Twitch, you should have YouTube, you should have, like, all of these massive platforms literally have all of their IPs. That way they can never comment on anything, they can never like or dislike anything, nothing whatsoever. Because 90% of them aren't going to be smart enough and don't care enough to sit there when they're told, sorry, your account's been banned from being able to post anything or being able to like or dislike any videos. They'll just give up. Make it so that they can't talk and that they don't have a voice anymore. It's not doxing. That's not doxing at all, because they already have their information anyway. How do you think the algorithm works?
Who are you?
Triss Marigold sent me to see you.
Gods. Horrible nightmares. I was supposed to dream the history of this house. Instead, I saw furniture. Hungry furniture that wished to devour me. I know it must sound foolish, but in the dream, well, it was all too real. And not at all amusing.
The work of a godling. She made people believe the house was haunted. Also injected your dreams with her little jokes.
And you managed to wake me. I feel fortunate.
We Witchers have our ways.
I thank you very much. The dreams, they were awful. Any way I can pay you back?
There is, actually. I'm looking for a young woman who was seen in Novigrad.
I can certainly try to help. But I'll need to clear my head first. After those deranged dreams, I feel it's full of cobwebs. Find me at the Golden Sturgeon. I rent a room there.
All right. See you there.
Their parents would be informed of their chat log. Well, I mean, here's, again, my biggest concern is that there are tons and tons and tons of people who think that they have a voice. Let's face it, in reality, a lot of these people don't. Nor should they, in my opinion. Because the problem is that if you just have a bunch of people who are going to be assholes all the time, then it's not worth being.
Leave, but she refused to speak.
It's not worth being part of a community.
Or quite the opposite.
It really isn't worth being part of a community, right? People have to grow up eventually, and if they don't, then they don't deserve anybody's attention, right? They really, really don't. And I think one of the harshest realities, especially in this day and age, is if you have a bunch of people who think that they're all-knowing and all-powerful, and they get that power taken away from them because nobody wants to work with them, nobody wants to kowtow around their bullshit, nobody wants to hear their hateful shit anymore, then either they're going to have to be forced to live with what they've done and grow up, or they're just going to have to find someplace else to do it, but at least it's not places where we frequent. And you're right, most people don't ever grow up. I agree. But when they're forced to, at least you got a 50-50 shot of them doing so.
A bit of both. A demon had captured Corrine. I managed to free her, but the house is still haunted.
Did Corrine dream of the building's past?
Yeah. Pretty horrid, apparently, though she refused to talk about it. Nobody should inhabit the place.
So many crowns I paid. Oh, well. It shan't put me in the poorhouse.
Oi, cocker!
It's just, it is really, really sad. You got a woman who's not only a wife and a mother, but you also have a woman who's doing something good. And that's just wrong. 12-year-olds and grown men acting like them are a thing. I agree, but that's also a very piss-poor excuse. Right? And I'm not saying you're giving one, but people use excuses like that all the time to excuse actions that are taken, and we got so many other things to deal with that the last thing anybody should have to worry about is people being dragged through the mud because they're just trying to do right. Bad guy always wins. Sadly, I understand why it feels like that. But eventually, it's going to come back and it's going to bite these people in the ass. It always does. We may not hear about it, but it always does.
I believe I see a challenger who seeks to subdue Pile Driver.
Like, for instance, you know how, like, you have people that'll go in, and it doesn't matter what streamer, but you typically see it with a lot of women streamers, right? And they'll say something rude. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, your ass is way too fat. And then that woman will turn around and go, oh, really? Because your dad didn't have any problem with it when I was fucking him last night. And they shut up immediately. They don't even have to be banned. Because these people are just stupid. Right? There are other people who are guys, women, doesn't matter, and they'll say things left and right and all this other stuff just incredibly quick, and it'll shut those people down so fucking fast. It's not like it's actually comical to see if they ever come back with anything, because then they sound exactly the age that mentally they are. Because they thought that they could play with the big boys and the big girls, and they realize that they can't. And literally all they're doing is just being mean to be mean. But they have no comeback when it comes to shit like that. It's like regular schoolyard bully shit. Regular schoolyard bully stuff. You say, like, there are people out there, and it probably still happens in schools even today, but, like, when I was growing up, right, we didn't have the internet the way that it is now, but typically it'd be like, there was this one guy, and his name was Kenny, and fuck him, by the way. He's one of the few people that I can honestly say, yeah, no, I don't give a shit about this guy whatsoever, and I'm kind of hoping, because of all the other shit that he used to do, that at this point he's in jail. But like, my buddy Rob and I were walking around like Rob's neighborhood one day, and we came across Kenny, and Kenny started talking shit about something, and Rob turned around and said, hey man, you got a fucking problem? And he did the thing, and he gets up from sitting down, and he squares up, and he comes right. He's like, why? What are you gonna do about it? He's like, I'm gonna tell you to go fuck your mother. And he's like, yo, my mother's dead. He's like, oh, good, that'll make it even sweeter. And it shut him the fuck up. And then he tried coming back later, and he's like, come on, asshole, you want to do something? Do something. He's like, bro, I'm not the one who's got the fucking problem. You're the one being the goddamn crybaby. You're just trying to goad me into a fight because you're an asshole, and you think that if you try and goad people into a fight that it's going to be counted as self-defense. You're fucking stupid. How about you go sit back down and go play fucking Monopoly, because that's about the only IQ you've got. And sure enough, he backed down. Those are the type of people who run Reddit. Those are the type of people who run those subreddits. Those are the type of people who go in and fucking tell women, oh, your ass is fat. Oh, you're ugly. You have no tits. And like all this other shit. People like Kenny. So do yourself a favor, and I know nobody here is like that, but generally speaking, do yourself a favor. Don't ever be like Kenny. Mostly because with everything else that Kenny's done in his life, he should probably be in jail if he isn't already. Fat ass isn't that bad. You're right, it's not that bad. However, you have to remember that, especially as a streamer who is a woman, right? If that's all the shit that you're getting constantly, that wears away at you. Women get it a million times worse than guys ever would. They just do. Like, I know that this has been, you know, dragged through the mud and the dead horse has been beaten a million times over. But at the same time, if somebody goes, oh, well, if somebody tells me, well, your ass is fat, right? I joke around about it. But I'm also not a woman, and an attractive woman or a semi-attractive woman who has to sit there and deal with those kinds of things hundreds of times within a 6-hour period. Even if I'm not necessarily the most attractive woman in the world, that doesn't mean that there aren't people who literally just come in and go, oh, you're fuck ugly. Hundreds of times in a 6-hour... And it gets to you after a while. You know what I mean? It's not even the women are self-conscious more. If somebody sat there and they were calling you a fucking idiot, and they were calling you, and they were using that R word, and they were using it hard, and you kept hearing it every 45 seconds, every time you were here on stream, it would really start to hurt. That's the point. Like, imagine living your life by literally just being degraded to your tits aren't big enough, or you have no tits, or your tits are way too big, or your ass is fat, or you're fuck ugly. Wear more makeup. How about you go to Weight Watchers? How about you do this? How about you do that? Right? I don't get any of that. I don't get any of that at all. But hell, even in an Amaranth stream, you had people doing shit like that. Right? After a while, it gets to you. And then when people realize that shit stops working, then they go for the worse insults because they're trying to get a reaction. That's the whole thing. It may not mean much to you, and it may not mean necessarily much to me, because people don't say I have a fat ass and use it as a demeaning thing. But there are tons and tons and tons of women on Twitch, on Kick, on YouTube, you know, everywhere else. Oh, I know you were, Corgi. Twitch, Kick, YouTube, TikTok, wherever. That's literally all they get. Yeah, but Blue, here's the problem. A lot of the time when you say stuff like that, people don't know if you're being honest. Right? And it has nothing to do with whether or not you're missing the point, Blue. You're completely missing the point, okay? The point is absolutely not, oh, they're objectively better or they're not. It has nothing to do with that. If you want to talk about how something is the way it is, that's one thing. But when you have people who are going, you're fuck ugly, you're retarded, your ass is fat, you're stupid, you should wear more makeup, you should go to Weight Watchers, you're poor as fuck, you can't afford anything. Ha ha ha. Look at you. You're in a shit country. Ha ha ha. Look at you. Look at your family dynamic. Look at all this. Look at that. And they're constantly doing it. That's a problem. That's a massive problem. As a woman who was once a girl who was called fat and ugly at the young age of 8 when I was a healthy weight for a little girlie my age, it fucks you up, and it continued for all of school life, to the point I no longer believe my mother when she told me she thought I was beautiful. I barely believe my boyfriend right now when he says he thinks I'm beautiful. Yeah. I don't have to deal with that. I never have to deal with that, but I can tell you flat out that every single woman I've ever dated, every single woman that I've ever been with, every single woman I've ever had a conversation with, every single one of them has had to go through that from a young age, and constantly, just because of the way society works most of the time, feels like I have to put on my face. We've all heard that. I have to put on my face before I go out. Well, why do you have to put on your face? You look gorgeous as it is. Because I have to put on my face. We don't understand it. Right? Guys don't understand it. But women will spend literally fucking hours trying to make themselves look as gorgeous as possible with makeup, because society tells us if you're not as beautiful as possible, you're fuck ugly. So when you get it, as a woman, you get that shit 6 to 8 hours a day, every single day, because you're a streamer and you just want to sit there and have fun and everything like that and kind of forget about all the shit that's going on in the world and everything else. But everybody is constantly reminding you of every single thing that everybody who's ever been insanely mean to you and made your life hell every 30 seconds for a 6 to 8 hour period. That 1,000,000% will get to you. Go listen to Unpretty. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with having disagreements. Nothing wrong at all with having disagreements. But there is absolutely a massive problem with people who just go in on personal attacks. As guys, we almost never get it to even a fraction of the extent that women do. We will almost never, ever get that. I know women today, okay, even at 38 years old, I know women today who still have to get up 2.5 hours before they have to be at work that they live 5 minutes from, because they have to take a shower, they have to put on their makeup, they have to do up their hair, they have to do all this shit just so they can barely make it to work on time. Because if they're not drop dead gorgeous as they can be, then they go, holy shit, something's wrong with this person. Something must be wrong with this person because they're not beautiful. Meanwhile, guys, I mean, shit, we can not shower for fucking a week straight, right? And not comb our hair, not take a shower, right? We can put on the same clothes and everything like that, and nobody bats a fucking eyelash. Nobody. Right? Oh, that's Shadow. He's just having a bad day. Right? But a woman does that. Oof. Big oof. It's a massive, massive, massive double standard. And it thoroughly sucks. It thoroughly, thoroughly sucks. You can absolutely have a disagreement. I'll use what you're talking about, Blue. if you think that the new movies are, and I don't care one way or the other, but if you think that the new movies are objectively better than like the original trilogy for Star Wars, that's your opinion, and we can absolutely have a discussion about it. But there's a big difference between being told, no, I think that the new movies are a hell of a lot better than the original movies, versus shut up, ugly. You're poor, so your opinion doesn't matter. What would you know? You have a fat ass. What would you know? You can't stand up correctly because your tits are too big. What do you know? You don't even classify as a woman because you have no tit. Like, these are things that are said constantly to women. And it sucks. It really sucks.
When I'm done with you, you'll squirt your kidneys.
White head like a miller's son.
Got a sharp pain in my spine.
That man's just in his underwear. Okay.
You look familiar. Wouldn't know where my parrot is, would ya?
Got a sharp pain in my spine.
One drink all I had.
No, that's B. That's not Corinne or Corinne.
Why are you looking at me cross-eyed, grey boy?
Have you heard? Some circus troops angered Menga.
I'm in a rut. I've such a hard time finding inspiration.
I mean, you're banging on drums, dude. That's not a good start. She's up. Okay. Switcher 3, we don't ask questions. It's better not to.
Ow!
Oh.
A dream in here.
Never witnessed a seance like this before, let alone participated.
I will guide you. You must first achieve a kind of mental accord. I must ask some questions. You must answer them. It's important you're truthful. Answer from your heart.
Okay.
Let's begin.
To start with, tell me a memory you have of this woman.
What for?
Do as I ask, please. I need the strongest, most complete memory you have of...
Ciri. The woman's name is Ciri.
I think society forgot the whole point was to look attractive, to have more kids, but the West is declining in birth rates, which is funny. No, it's not that. It's not that at all. It's that, unfortunately, you have a bunch of fucking idiots who think that because their lives are so bad that they should just make everybody else's life just as hurtful. That's what it is. It has nothing to do with birth rates or anything like that. Ugh. Nothing excuse me. Nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the fact that there are a lot of people who are in dire straits and are so fucking bitter that all they want to do is hate. That's it. All they want to do is hate because misery loves company. They absolutely love company. And I can tell you one thing, especially because I've been around for a very, very, very long time. That asshole that I was talking about before, Kenny, fucker was staring in the damn window. Oh my god. That asshole Kenny that I was talking about, you want to talk about somebody who was a miserable fuck. Look no further than Kenny. So he wanted to sit there and he wanted to try and pick fights and goad people into hitting first and do all this other shit and, you know, be the biggest asshole he could possibly be and thought he was awesome for doing it and everything like that. Yeah, fine. Except for the fact that every time he went home, his father beat the ever-living shit out of him when his dad got home because his dad was fucking hammered. Right? Here he is, a 12-year-old kid, and he's trying to act like the biggest, baddest, you know, son of a bitch in the entire school. And come to find out, the reason why is because it's the only thing he's ever known, because every time his dad comes home from being on the road for so long, because he's a truck driver, he comes home and he goes to a bar first and he gets fucking plastered, and then Kenny gets the ever-living shit kicked out of him. To the point where he's got to stay home for about 3-4 days because not only are there bruises, but now Kenny also spent a night in the emergency room because an arm got broken. Those are the types of people that you have to remember that we're dealing with, right? So if somebody comes in with no context and just tells women or men, you know, and they start attacking things that can't be controlled, it's because they're miserable too. Now, that doesn't mean that you should show them sympathy or anything like that. You should absolutely sit there and be like, hey, fuckface, shut up. But at the same time, misery loves company, and they're just trying to make people as miserable as possible. That's what's going on. Now, in terms of the birth rates declining and shit like that, the reason why birth rates declining is easy. Because everybody doesn't have any fucking money. It costs $1 million from the time the kid is born to the time the kid graduates from high school. Nobody has that kind of money anymore. Most people can't even save up half of that. That's why birth rates are declining when it costs $43,000 to have a kid in a hospital. And they bill your ass. This isn't like, oh, well, you know, I mean, insurance will pay for it. No, they don't. Insurance pays for a portion of it and then expects you to come up with the other $28,000 that they decided not to pay for whatever fucking reason. There's a YouTube video I saw, I want to say like 2 months ago. What's insurance? Exactly. I don't feel insured. There was a video I saw like 2 months ago, and it was this couple, and they were talking about how they were getting fucked by a hospital bill because they had 2 kids. They charged them, even though they were twins, so they came out at the same time. They were twins. They were charged double by the hospital. And understandably, the insurance company wasn't going to pay for it. But the insurance company paid for everything that they could, right? And everything that they deemed logical. And still after that, they owed $20,000 to the hospital out of pocket. You're thinking as if everybody is thinking logically? No, logic has nothing to do with it. Logic has nothing to do with it at all. Only 10% of the population ever thinks if they afford X thing. Fair. But if you look at everything else going on in the world, why would they want to do it? That has nothing to do with it being logical. That has everything to do with, I don't want to pay $20,000 out of pocket because I don't have it. I don't want to bring somebody into this world because of all the shit that's constantly going on. I don't want my child to sit there and have to deal with some of the worst fucking things I've heard as an adult that now kids are saying, because I know how bad it was for me when I was a kid. I can't even imagine how bad it is for kids now. There's a lot of shit that is said. There's a lot of shit that's said and done nowadays that I look at and I'm like, why the fuck would I want to bring a kid into this world? Ever. Yeah, exactly, Corgi. Yeah. I had this exact conversation with somebody not too long ago because they asked why I don't have any kids. Or, you know, stuff like that. And I told them, what if my kid... What if I married somebody and had a kid and the person that I married was black? And that person was mixed. But now they're just looked at as a black person because they're not white. Because they're some shade of brown. How is it that growing up as a white guy that I could ever understand driving while black? Right? What is it? What if my kid ended up being transgender? How am I supposed to sit there and tell my kid there's an entire group of people who don't believe you exist? And who will do anything, including by violent means, to prove that you don't exist? What if my kid ended up being gay or lesbian or anything in between? How am I supposed to sit there and tell my kid there are a bunch of people in the world, whether it's because of religion or their own personal beliefs or whatever, that believe that you are evil and will hate your guts and do everything to try and make sure that you stop existing as a person just because you like men or you like women? It is 1,000,000% a possibility. I know tons of people who are broke and have absolutely had kids. They can't afford a $20,000 hospital bill, but they still have kids, but they do what they need to do. And that's all well and fine. But there are so many things, so many possibilities and things like that out there where I can't even account for it. How am I supposed to sit there and tell my kid and have them understand in any way possible any of the harsh realities that really just, unfortunately, we kind of have to live with in this day and age? Right? There's a million different reasons. Even just people being mean. I mean, for instance, take that girl, Michaela Raines, right? Poor thing. She had bipolar. You know, she was going through a lot of emotional trauma and everything like that. And for whatever reason, and I don't know what the things were that were said, but they had to be some pretty fucking mean things. And some of those things came from people she thought were friends. And unfortunately, she felt like what she did was the only way out for her, even though she was doing so much good for not only her community, but for animals in general. And she still felt like that. And I saw the picture of her. She was gorgeous. She was absolutely gorgeous. In a world where people are going to do something to somebody like that, why would I bring a kid into this world? That's why birth rates are declining. Those are the two biggest things. People can't afford them, and people don't want to deal with half the shit that's going on now. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them whatsoever. Only really anything past millennials think about if they can afford children. Gen Z and boomers didn't give a fuck. That's not true. That's not true. They gave a fuck. The problem is that the rest of the world didn't give a fuck about them. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people who came before me and a lot of people who came before them that did a really, really good job at kind of just making everything worse.
I accepted a job once. Did it. Asked to choose my reward, I invoked the law of surprise. Never thought I'd actually meet the child promised to me at that time. Years later, I was in the Broccolon forest. Happened on a girl there. Didn't know who she was. The Dryads wanted to keep her, turn her into one of their own. But the Waters of Oblivion, they failed in her case. Ciri came out of Broccolon with me. I sent her back to her grandmother then. But already, I felt bound to her.
By destiny.
By something more.
Thank you. Would you be willing to share another memory?
Sure.
Yes.
No need to rush. We have time.
It was in Rivia. The second war with Nilfgaard had just ended. There was still tension in the air. For gods know what reason, race riots erupted in the town. I tried to do something, but couldn't stop a riled crowd. A boy with a pitchfork. He ran it right through my gut. Yennefer lay dying as well. Ciri had us carried onto a boat. We sailed to a place where apple trees bloom eternal. She left us there. It was the last time I saw her.
Is there anything you'd like to add? Another memory, perhaps?
Jesus.
Yes, there's something else.
All right. Tell me no more than you wish to.
Ciri was orphaned during the Second War with Nilfgaard. I had no idea what to do with a young girl. So I did what I would have done with a boy and took her to Kaer Morhen. Figured some physical training, sword work, development of her stamina couldn't hurt. I remember her standing on a crumbling wall. A stone came loose, she lost her footing. Caught her at the last possible instant. Strongest memory, though, is of her coming out of her room one day, wearing a dress and claiming she was indisposed. Knew then that Ciri was maturing. It was unavoidable. I was lost in the face of that.
I see. Do you wish to tell me anything more?
Jesus, lady.
Yes, I think so.
I only got one more memory here, so let's...
It was after her time training at Kaer Morhen. After the moment when Yennefer first called Ciri her daughter. We'd been separated. I knew she was in danger. I dreamt of her multiple times. I found her at Stygga Castle. She'd gone there to free Yen and gotten herself captured in the process. They wanted to hurt her. I remember fighting side by side with Ciri on stairs slippery from blood. It was the first time she ever deflected a crossbow bolt with her sword. Told her never to try it again.
You claim the woman has abilities. Tell me about them.
Oh, God.
She's a child of the Elder Blood.
A descendant of bloody Volker. The rebel burned at the stake. The prophecies claim the world's destroyer will be born of the Firebrand's cursed blood.
Pure legend.
Know when a legend transforms into prophecy? When it gains believers. I think you're right to be reticent in talking about the woman. I see. Do you wish to say more?
Sure.
Yeah, there's something else. They call Ciri the Lady of Space and Time. Once I asked Yennefer why. She travels between worlds. Turns out I don't know how to talk about it. Didn't really understand much of what Yen told me. I just know there's more to it than traveling to different places, and that Ciri carries immense power in her blood.
I see. Do you wish to say more?
Actually, you know what? I'm kind of learning some stuff about Ciri, and it's all making sense for Witcher 4.
Yeah, there's something else. I remember Ciri having trouble controlling her abilities. Yennefer tried to teach her to cast simple spells, and Ciri destroyed a shed near the temple where they were. Really upset her, but it was just an old shed. I know it took her a while to gain control, and frankly, I doubt she controls her abilities fully to this day.
I see. Do you wish to say more?
No. Can we start?
Naturally. I knew you cared about her. But your tone, the emotions you so carefully conceal.
Let's continue, please.
Make yourself comfortable and try to relax. You must take my hand and talk of Ciri. Tell me where you think she might be. Who could be at her side?
If Ciri couldn't find me, I'm sure she would have looked for another friend.
Who do you mean?
I have a theory, and it could just be a theory. I think I know why Ciri is the main character in Witcher 4. Not saying it's a bad thing either. I think it's actually a really, really good thing. She's known as the Lady of Space and Time, right? So when you dodge, you see that whooshing effect after her. I don't think that's her just dodging. I think that's her kind of manipulating space and time around her to be in one place quicker than, say, how Geralt does it, which is literally just stepping off to the side or jumping back or whatever. Because of her abilities and everything else, and we already know that Ciri is a Witcher. We know she is. And we know this because her eyes are the same kind of eyes that Geralt has now, which means that she, at some point, goes through the mutations. But the difference is that I think what ends up happening is that Ciri ends up becoming more powerful than Geralt. Geralt's talking like an old man here, right? Reminiscing about the days when Ciri was a young girl and, you know, talking about his feelings for her and how, you know, he treated her like a daughter and everything else, and that's fine. But as she matured, he realized that there were things that he couldn't help with, right? There was really no mother other than Yennefer. But at some point, Ciri ends up going through the mutations to be a Witcher, quite possibly because she doesn't want people to know that she's got the Elder Blood. So not only is she more powerful than Geralt to begin with, but at the same time, what's the best way to disappear than to be the one thing in plain sight that everybody can point to and go, don't associate yourselves with them. And then everybody just goes away and you never have to worry about them. And even if you do have to worry about them, who gives a shit, because everybody knows Witchers are insanely powerful anyway.
Yennefer wasn't in Novigrad. Triss was. But Ciri never found her. Maybe Dandelion? They liked each other a lot. Dreamt of a swallow at first. After that, just nightmares.
At times, the dreams can multiply. Show the past as well as the future.
The swallow. It symbolizes Ciri. She contacted Dandelion. I didn't know he was in town.
The poet. Heard about him. Someone left him the rosemary and thyme in their will.
The rosemary and thyme? Where's that?
As you enter the city through the red light district, you come upon a bridge. The rosemary is just past it.
Dandelion inherited a brothel?
So I've heard.
Thanks for your help.
Good luck, Witcher. I hope you find your Ciri.
Oh, good, level 8. Here, I took a mug. I was hoping it wasn't a mug. Because it's empty. There's things in here. No. Okay.
Maybe one of them hired thugs. Who knows?
Rum and supper I never refuse.
Mind the guards. They're worse than thugs.
No. There we go.
Master Claytop heartily greets the challenger.
Greetings to Master Claytop, from Geralt.
Will you take up the challenge? Will you face our tavern's champion?
Fuck yes, I will. Not enough coin. Oh. I think I have like 4.
Yeah, I'll fight this Gregorio fellow.
Your attention, please. This fine witcher has agreed to join in battle with our tavern's champion, George's George. While our champion prepares, you and I should have a chat. Let us talk coin. I shall be blunt. You stand to earn a great deal, provided you follow a few recommendations.
You asking me to cheat?
Not to cheat, to engage in an enterprise, that is all. What say you?
What does he have to
How much
say?
will you give me to throw the fight?
Considerably more than if you win.
Nah.
Kiss my ass, Master Claytop.
You'll regret that. A warm welcome to our competitors as they enter the ring. Geralt versus George's George, the pile driver. May the better man win.
He looks like the Great Khali.
Fucking come on! That's it, you're in for it!
Not too late to surrender.
Come on, gorgeous George, you fucking asshole.
Ever fight a witcher?
Slaughter them!
Our winner and the tavern's new champion is the witcher called Geralt. Here is your prize. Archibald O'Neill is another brawler you can fight. You'll find him near the entrance to the slums. There's also Mortimer, captain of the guard. He can usually be found near the Oxenfurt Gate.
Oh! Hey!
Well, that's what I mean, right? He's old. There's nothing wrong with him being in the game, but not the main character.
Help some fellas out, Master. we're a bit of coin short another round. 'Cause we're comrades, see? Witcher, ain't you? We're butchers. You slaughter, we slaughter. Except witchers earn more. Old villagers pitch in. Lords out with their purses. Ladies do, like, with their legs.
Guess I've been to the wrong villages. Dealt with the wrong lords and ladies.
Come on, don't make us beg. What's the witcher for, anyways? It's to help men in need.
It's time you went home.
You boys look tired. Probably ought to go home now.
Well, how long we been drinking now?
2 days. Well said, Master. Home we will go.
Oh, shit.
Damn it!
Keep it together, legs!
Idiot. Okay, get rid of the maces. Don't need those. This is a magic item? It is. Requires level 8, minus 3. It's a magic sword. I couldn't give a shit, actually.
Rain again. Damn mages.
Got so fucked up, man. Blood came out.
Now you.
Yeah.
Oh.
In short, who kisses your ass today will bite it tomorrow. How's business?
I'll make you weep blood.
Talk to the bookie.
Name's Geralt.
Patty Gruber, I'm a bookie. I trust you're here to fight.
I'm ready.
Hear that? A fight at last. Our champion, Archibald O'Neill, to face Geralt. Fight!
Okay, let's do it.
Mistake.
Idiot.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new champion. The man who dethroned Archibald O'Neill. Bravo to Geralt. A beautiful bout.
Want to be crowned the best in Novigrad. Who do I gotta fight?
Well, if you yearn to fight some more, you must certainly face the captain of the guard.
The world, yet they lit such rabble.
Rain again. Damn mages.
You look familiar.
I like the fighting quests. Those are fun.
Move on.
Damn it.
I never come back, you stinking scatties. All we wanted was... Don't give a flying fuck what you wanted. Get!
Think I pissed me trousers.
Oop. Missed the stairs.
Gonna kill you!
Show me what you got.
That's it? Who's next? Hey, asshole. What you got for me?
Hey, you! Yes, you! You got water on the brain?
Where's the bookie?
One word and I'll cut you in the stocks.
I'm Geralt of Rivia.
It matters not what you're called. It matters not where you're from. What matters is if you're prepared to fight Captain Mortimer.
Actually, shit, hang on.
I'll be back.
How much coin do I have? I got 19. Okay. Good to know.
I'm Geralt of Rivia.
It matters not what you're...
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Fight!
Troops, here now!
Just wear him down. That's all I need to do. There we go.
Geralt of Rivia dethrones Captain Mortimer! Behold your prize champion! You have earned the honor to challenge Novigrad's champion, Durden the Tailor. You will find him in Far Corners, and fight there as well after sundown. The truth is, we're already dependent on the Black Ones, economically.
Nice, 38 crowns. I'll be able to double that here in a minute.
Help! Save me! I'm dying!
Ah, some people. I serve the eternal fire.
Really? It was easier going out and around? That's kind of weird, but okay.
Oh, it's hard to light a fire in this weather.
As long as the damp
Cost
don't
you
make me
double
sick.
in the rain.
Help! Save me! I'm dying of poverty.
And it's raining again.
Smuggler's cash, huh? Fuck it, I'll go for a swim. Inventory. Dump that. There we go.
They hate you too, fat girl.
How much do I have? 38.
Hey, look! Wild Hunt Wayfarer wants to fight Durden the tailor.
The woman's mad. Unfortunate, really. Can't imagine where she gets the coin.
Ah, we've been expecting you. We're already taking bets.
You've been weighed, you've been measured, and you've been found scrawny. In what world could you possibly defeat me?
The newcomer may seem all skin and bones, but remember, he defeated the sergeant to the bloody Baron of Velen.
Came here
38.
to fight the tailor, so let's do this.
Novigraders, one and all, a momentous occurrence. Before us, in just minutes, Geralt of Rivia will face the tailor.
Come here, bitch. Uncle Durden wants to sew you a new face.
All right. I can do this all day, bro. Come on, asshole.
Ever fight a witcher?
The woman's mad. Unfortunate, really. I can't imagine where she gets the coin to feed that band of cats.
Oh, dearie, you'd be surprised. Our cat lover once led a band of ne'er-do-wells. They raided elven tombs. I'm certain
Geralt in WWE. Come on. Got him.
Durden is champion no more. Henceforth, the title belongs to the Drifter. If you've not had your fill of slapabouts just yet, you'll find other eager challengers in Velen and Skellige.
Stinks of burnt flesh. Can they not burn those pyres beyond the city walls?
76 coins. Hell yeah.
Wouldn't be so pale if you ate onions
Best
and all.
not cause any trouble at the inn.
Open up in the name of the fire. There's a maid inside, we know it. One Remy.
Wait, how is it not canon? I'm confused.
Fucking hay, Oz.
Or are you just going strictly after the book?
Look awfully suspicious to me. This is Novigrad, not your backyard village. One drink, all I had.
Our world will burn! Burn in the eternal fire!
They say the Isles are at war with Midgard. Blood.
That's a miracle we came back at.
Who do I talk to?
Bloody pirates.
No. There we go.
You captain of this tub?
What's it to you?
Witcher 2 ending is the canon, the book is the canon. I think it really depends on exactly how you look at it. Honestly, because and this is coming from somebody this is literally the first one out of any of them that I've ever played, right? So take it with a grain of salt. But the way I see it, personally, is if the writer has no problem with there being a 3 and actually, like, says, yeah, sure, absolutely, there can be a 3, and then goes so far as to say that just because no woman has ever gone through the mutations doesn't mean that they can't. That they're also acknowledging that the events that happened in 3 to an extent are canon, as well as Ciri being made a Witcher is also canon. And I'm only saying that, and I wouldn't have said it like a couple of years ago, but I'm only saying it because of the way that people look at Star Trek and Star Wars now, right? And I can understand how there's a lot of people out there who have read the books and say, well, you know, the books are the only canon and stuff like that, and that's fine. But then you get into stuff like Dune, right? So, for instance, does that mean that, like, anything after the original 6 that Frank Herbert wrote is not canon because it was made by his son, but it was using his notes? Is that, like, an exception to the rule? Or, like, you know what I mean? Like, things get really complicated really, really quick. The one thing that I absolutely don't understand when it comes to The Witcher, though, is how everybody went insane when they found out that Ciri was the main character for 4. That's the one thing that, throughout all this that we found out of Ciri so far, is how everybody can lose their mind when they find out that Ciri is now the Witcher. I for the life of me, I can't figure that one out. Because, like, we just went through the whole thing with, the Dreamer. Right? And, like, with the Dreamer, he was telling her that Ciri's known as the Lady of Space and Time, and sometimes she had problems controlling her abilities, and, you know, he raised her since she was a little girl, and helped her train, and helped her get book smart, and be able to become, you know, wise, and things like that, and take what she read in books, and be able to actually apply it, and use it correctly, and so on. And then even Ciri says, yes, I was raised by Witchers, but I never took the mutations. So it comes to, like, this really, really weird thing, because even the writer acknowledges that just because, although even Ciri acknowledges, like, she hasn't taken the mutations, doesn't mean that she can't. Anything other than the source is not canon. I hope that's consensus. Well, fair. But wouldn't the source be the writer and not the books? Because, like, from what the writer said, they specifically said that even though Ciri recognizes in 3 that she has not taken the mutations, it doesn't mean that she can't take the mutations. So if they're acknowledging that 3 is going by that logic, wouldn't that acknowledge that there is canonicity within 3? Honestly, I don't rightly know, but that's why I'm asking. And again, this is just coming from somebody who, like, this is my first foray into The Witcher, like, at all. Because it also, like, and it also brings up, like, a bunch of other stuff, too. Like, we all know Game of Thrones ended really crap, right? And granted, a lot of people made some really rash decisions very quickly because they didn't know if, George R.R. Martin was actually going to actually be able to finish the last book because he's so old. Like, literally, that was their concern. But, having said that, he still kind of had to okay it because he's the guy who made it. As I said, series future is open-ended, so whatever happens next is up to anyone's imagination. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, there's been this thing going around since, and I couldn't believe it. Everybody that just got so pissed off with Ciri being the next Witcher, and I came up with a theory, like, as he was talking to the Dreamer within, like, 10 minutes. I didn't finish the last season, and the series varied wildly from book 3. Of course, absolutely it did. Right? But George R.R. Martin, who would be considered the source and literally the guy who wrote them, he had to have given the okay for the books that were already written in terms of what they wanted to deviate from. So it's like, it's this weird thing when it comes to canon. And, like, I'm a massive, massive Star Trek fan. I am probably, like, the biggest Star Trek nerd you'll ever meet. And over the last few years, there's been a bunch of people, myself included, who shit all over Star Trek Discovery. But the difference is, like, I don't shit all over Star Trek Discovery because it's not canon. I shit all over Star Trek Discovery because the show and the characters were awful. And there's a lot of people who, like, look at one episode of, it's like the final episode of Star Trek Lower Decks because of something that happened in there, and they go, oh, see, this proves that Star Trek Discovery isn't canon, and this, that, and it's like, did anybody ever stop to think that maybe they did that because it was a joke, not because it's not canon? Not to mention, for the longest time, people didn't consider Star Trek the Animated Series not canon because it was a cartoon. But now everybody's considering Star Trek Lower Decks canon, even though it's a cartoon. And the animated series. So if that's the case, wouldn't Star Trek Discovery, although awful, still be canon? I'm always really, really, really interested in what's considered canon and what isn't. And, like, how things change in terms of what's canon. And I'm not, like, trying to crap on anybody's beliefs or anything like that, but I feel like the word canon sometimes is just used a lot in, like, a way to kind of gatekeep when it really shouldn't be. Star Trek is complicated, I guess, because the source books are written by so many people, you can do whatever you want, but that's the thing. The books were never considered canon. The only time anything was ever considered canon for the longest time, and still for the most part in Star Trek, is if it was on TV or if it was in a movie. The books didn't matter, and still don't. The books never ever mattered. Neither did the comic books, neither did the graphic novels, absolutely nothing. The only time anything in Star Trek is ever considered like 100% canon is if it was on TV or if it was a movie. That's it. Same thing with Star Wars, by the way. The only difference is that after a while, George Lucas kind of made this grading system, or at least helped to make this grading system to go, yeah, this probably could have happened in the Star Wars universe. And then it was further complicated by Disney going, yeah, no, we bought it now, so anything that isn't on TV or hasn't been a movie or wasn't a TV show is no longer canon. But then they keep taking things from the books that were at one point considered canon and making them canon again. And it's like, it's this really weird thing. Really, really weird.
I'm Skellige bound. Need to get there.
Start swimming. Islanders, the black ones, all attackers in those waters. No one sails the route these days.
Come on. Clans are ready to deal. Leave you alone if you do. Someone's done it. Gotta have.
Not likely. Except maybe that daft bastard Wolverston from the Atropos. A liar, a thief, and a bugger, that one. He might have parlayed with the sea swine.
Where can I find him?
In a pigsty most times. Others, the Golden Sturgeon. As for Flask, everyone knows him.
Not in the case of Witcher and A Song of Ice and Fire. Well, but again, that's what I mean. Like, a Song of Ice and Fire, as much as we all hate to, like, honestly, I hate to put it this way because I didn't like how it ended either. But if George R.R. Martin is an executive producer, then he knows what's going on with the rewrites. And if that's the case, then that means that either A, they bought him out and just kept him on as an executive producer credit because they legally have to, which is entirely possible, or B, he gave the okay. And if he's the source, then why wouldn't it also be considered canon? You know what I mean? Like, it's this really, really weird thing. It's this really, really weird thing. And I wish there was an explanation, but I guess maybe that's what I'm trying to figure out, is what is it that is considered canon? Is it more so the fans that dictate what is canon nowadays, or is it the actual people who write it? Because if it's the people who write it, you know what I mean? I guess Brandon Sanderson or someone else will finish Song of Ice and Fire after Martin gives up, which is fair, but if they finish it and not him, does that make the ending not canon because he's no longer the source? Like, it's this really tough spot to be in.
You, Wolverston, captain of the Atropos?
So you want to know if I'm Atropos, captain of the Wolverston? No fucking clue, mate.
I need to get to Skellige.
My Atropos and me, we're due to sail for Ard Skellig, carrying grain. But that's hush-hush. Got any coin?
Oh, Jesus, 1,000?
Gotta get more coin.
You sure do. For I won't even whip me horse in a bath without payment in advance. This city, racial hygiene's as poor as their personal hygiene.
Map. That's not map. That's map. Shopkeeper. Okay, go left. Got it. I do have... Oh, God.
Explain to him exactly why.
Bye-bye.
Terrible times.
Winds howling.
Other writers finishing the series with the permission of the original writer. I mean, it has, yes, but what is it that makes it canon? Like, that's... It's a really, really weird place to be.
Why the googly eyes?
got a case of
Well, well, look who's here. The White Wolf himself in my humble establishment. How can I be of service?
I really... Oh, God. This is not what I thought. Damn it! Actually, can I convert currency?
Got some coin I'd like to convert into crowns.
You've come to the right place. A better rate you'll not find anywhere in the city.
What else do I have? I got 112. Oh, okay. I was actually just hoping to sell things, but sure.
These are foul practices.
Any needs?
Dawn coming in with a raid. Thank you so much, Dawn. How you doing?
Welcome.
Give me 1 second.
What have you got there?
Oh, God, he's... Okay, he might not have anything. This sucks. How you doing, Dawn? In my case, it's canon as long as it's true to the spirits of the original series, which I can understand. I can totally understand that. Dawn, how is Death Stranding 2? Obviously no spoilers, because I'm going to wait the 8 months to a year before it comes out, but yeah. I played Death Stranding 2 Episode 1. Very fun and smooth. Okay, fair enough. Totally fair. Now, everybody keeps saying Death Stranding 2 Episode 1. The only thing I actually do want to know is it broken up into episodes this time around? Because I know that they had chapters last time. Use the term episode for your streams. Fair. Okay. I mean, that's totally fair. Last time and this time we're both called up. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I was wondering that because there's been a lot of people, and I haven't clicked on any of the videos, but there's been a lot of people that have been going, oh, well, Death Stranding Episode 1, right? But I remember Spectre saying that he wanted to stream it, but because it was like a pre-order thing that they had early access, they were only able to stream up to a certain point until like access was given to everybody, which I understand, but I didn't know if it was broken up into episodes specifically so that they could go, here's the cutoff point. Yeah, early access had limits, but I think that was only until it came out. Because, like, they were only... They basically said, like, early access, if you plan on streaming it or whatever, you can only do it up until this point. Like, I don't know exactly how they delineated it. But it was basically, you can only stream it up to a certain point, and that's it. And yeah, that was basically how it went. An example will be the Harry Potter series. The Cursed Child is not canon whatsoever. It's a travesty and stupid fanfic at best. But don't worry too much with whatever canon is, as long as you enjoy it. I mean, I'm enjoying the game, absolutely. I always like trying to figure out what exactly people consider canon, because I think the biggest issue a lot of the time, and especially why when you have beloved franchises, again, Witcher 4, right, that are coming out with a new episode or whatever it is you want to call it, everybody loses their minds, right? Like, I can sit there and go, okay, well, I didn't like the sequel trilogy to Star Wars, but it had nothing to do with Rey. It's that they wrote Rey poorly, and that literally The Force Awakens was just a rehash of A New Hope, right? That I don't like. And I don't like J.J. Abrams because I think J.J. Abrams is a hack, right? Or I don't like Rian Johnson because Rian Johnson's way of doing things is he wants half the audience to love him and half the audience to kill him. Those are his words, by the way. The other half wants to kill him. So therefore he purposely made the second movie like really, really, really bad and did it a specific way to just piss people off, which I don't think is how that should be done. So you have a guy who doesn't know how to write his way out of a piss-soaked paper bag, and then he hands it over to another guy who specifically wants half the audience to be insanely pissed off at him, and that's not how you do anything. But unfortunately, now it's considered canon because it's a movie, which means that if we're going by the same rule that Disney put forth, whether I liked it or not is inconsequential. It's the fact that it is now canon. It is a movie, therefore it is canon, right? We can't go back and rewrite it because the cat's already out of the bag. You know, talking about 3.5 or 3 extra expansion before Witcher 4. We're just talking about canonicity in general. I knew you were going to say hack before you even got halfway through that sentence. Yeah, because he is. Unfortunately. I mean, like, I know that there were a bunch of people who loved Lost, but look at how many people were really pissed off at the end of Lost. And then, you know, like, he literally went out of his way to go on to a late night talk show and basically say, yeah, no, I just got bored, so I said fuck it, and we just wrote whatever. I'm not too invested into Star Wars as it's only a movie series. I only care about the prequel and original trilogy. Others are just jokes. But that's the thing. They're not just jokes anymore. That's kind of the problem, right? So they're saying if it's not on TV and if it's not a movie, then it's not canon, which means that all the TV shows, good, bad, or indifferent, are now absolutely canon, which I don't like, but I kind of have to accept. But now they're also taking things from, say, video games, right? And they're making those canon now too, so now the line gets blurred even more. Perfect example of that is Cal Kestis. So if you liked Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, those are actually being made canon specifically because Disney acknowledges that they are canon, and they can turn around and they can sell his lightsaber hilt. It's this really, really weird thing with how canon works. It is. And that happens in Song of Ice and Fire, that happens in apparently Witcher, that happens in Star Trek, that happens in Star Wars, that happens in a bunch of things. And Star Wars has multiple canons too. Honestly, the worst part is it depends on how you look at it, because Disney said no. All the books and previous crap aren't canon. Only the stuff that is a movie or a TV show is canon. Which unfortunately also means that the Star Wars holiday special is canon. Like, as much as I hate to say that, because if you've never seen the Star Wars holiday special, it is god-awful. But that also means that the Star Wars holiday special is in fact canon. Which is just miserable. It really is. Based Disney. I don't know if I'd call Disney based. I don't know if I'd go that far. These are the same people who literally remade Aladdin, and don't get me wrong, Will Smith is a great actor, but now they're trying to tell me that Will Smith is in fact the genie and not Robin Williams. It gets there are so many things that are considered canon and not canon, and like every different, and it's so weird. It's so weird. And I get what you mean, Don. You're talking about, like, with the books and everything like that, how they had the rating system, but that was all George Lucas. And George Lucas has nothing to do with it anymore because Disney bought everything from him. So, yeah, now it's like, well, now what? It's so weird, and I always wonder about canon when it comes to fans of damn near anything. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even kidding. This one is really, really funny, and you're gonna laugh. There is an entire group of people that have a set canon for Sonic the Hedgehog. And I just sit there and go, what? Like, I remember when, like, the biggest thing to come out for Sonic was Sonic and Knuckles. Right? Or, like, early Saturday morning cartoons where you had two Sonic cartoons that were going simultaneously. You had the one that was definitely geared more towards, like, young kids. Right? And then you had the one that was more serious. And some people sit there and they go, oh, well, the serious one is definitely canon, but the one that is geared more towards kids where he just wants to eat chili dogs all day, that one's not canon. But then Sega will come out and they'll kind of like branch off of it a little bit and they'll go, oh, yeah, no, Sonic loves chili dogs. But if they're acknowledging that Sonic loves chili dogs now, then that means that they're acknowledging, at least in part, that the one that is the series that's more geared towards kids does have canonical things that are going on, but it's all done retroactively. So it's like, where is it that the line is drawn? Like, it's really weird. It's really, really weird. Any fan base that go deep enough makes their own canon and non-canon rules. No, I agree. I totally agree. It's just, when you look at canon, it's really, really like an odd thing. It really is. And I'm not like shitting on anybody because, you know, what they believe I think isn't necessarily correct, or agreeing with anybody or anything like that, right? Like, I was telling Emo Lee before, I'm a massive Star Trek fan, probably the biggest Star Trek fan you'll ever know. But at the same time, I have to acknowledge that even though I hate Star Trek Discovery for literally anything and damn near everything it tries to do, because it flops so hard, with the exception of a couple of things, all of it is canon. Right? Like, I can't stand the fact that Star Trek Discovery is a thing that they created, but it absolutely is canon. Right? And unfortunately, and I know they, with them popularizing fan fiction and everything else, here's the worst part. None of it's canon. None of the comics, none of the books, none of the audiobooks, none of the graphic novels, none of them are canon and never have been. The only way it ends up canon when it's Star Trek is if it's been on TV or it's been in a movie, and that's it. That's all it is. So even with Star Trek Online, another perfect example, right? Star Trek Online is a video game, but it's considered beta canon because it gets everything right up to a certain point in terms of what is Star Trek canon and then branches off. So they're not considering it a different reality. They're considering it beta canon, which means it just goes to a certain point and then it just goes off into left field in their own direction. So they're acknowledging that there is actually canon, but the whole thing itself is not canon. Which makes it even weirder. I've always looked at stories the way Stephen King does. When it is being created, it's the creator's story up until it's finally released to the public. then it becomes the audience's story, as they can then find symbolism and meaning behind things that are there in the story. Sometimes they see what the creator intended, sometimes they see their own interpretation of the story, which is why if I don't like how a story ends or goes, I know I can rewrite it in my head and have my own canon. That's another thing that gets brought up all the time, is head canon. Hang on one second. I'm just putting something away. Headcanon is a very, very powerful thing. Very powerful thing. And again, I know I'm getting really fucking nerdy here, and I apologize, because I know a lot of people don't know a lot about Star Trek like I do, so just bear with me. Star Trek 3, Search for Spock, right? If you haven't seen any of the older Star Trek movies, this might go right over your head, but I know Myth will know. Okay? Spock dies at the end of the Wrath of Khan. Kirk goes to rescue Spock's soul on the Genesis planet in Star Trek 3. There's another ship called the Grissom. It gets blowed up. Kirk's son David and Saavik, who is a half Romulan, half Vulcan, are the only two survivors of the attack because they were down on the planet, and they find a young boy who just so happens to be Spock, and he's aging rapidly because the planet is aging rapidly because of what David did to the Genesis device that created the planet in the first place. That's really the Cliff Notes version. But it is insinuated that in between 3 and 4, and was actually part of the original script, that the reason why in Star Trek 4, Saavik does not go with Spock back to Earth before they have to save the Earth from, by going back in time and, bringing back humpbacked whales. The reason why it's shot that way is because in the original script, Saavik stays on Vulcan because she's carrying Spock's child. That's in the original script, and that's how it was originally meant to be. But they took it out because they didn't know if they could get Leonard Nimoy back for another movie after Star Trek 4. But it's always been, generally speaking, people's headcanon that you have Saavik, who is pregnant with Spock's child, at the beginning of Star Trek 4, and that's why she doesn't leave Vulcan. Fast forward 40 some odd years, and now you have the Otoy fan film that brings back Saavik, and actually Robin Curtis as Saavik, and there she is standing with somebody who looks generally like not only Spock, but also the young boy from Star Trek 3, but taller and older. And it's insinuated that that is, in fact, Spock's son. And now, Otoy has the video on YouTube, but it is unlisted currently because they are in talks with Paramount about making it canon. So, literally a throwaway line that for years has not been canon now has the possibility of actually being canon without actually having ever been portrayed in a movie, which even further blurs the line. How crazy is that?
What have you got there?
Oh yeah, no, this guy had shit. That's right. And I can't sell any of this crap to him. Damn it! No, I'm not selling my food. I need my food. But I will sell you these candelabras. I will sell you this casket and the ladle and 2 mugs. And I will sell you... No, I need that. I will sell you raven's feathers and whatever that is, and rotting flesh, all of it, and a doll, and the hide, and these hides, and the platter. I don't know where the flowers came from. And more hides. And another hide and a pelt. And 3 sheep skins. And a wolf hide. And a pipe. And more hides. Can I sell you anything? Okay, I can't sell you anything from here. I tried. Damn it. Yeah, no, I can't sell you anything from here. Fair enough. I'm just trying to get rid of stuff and wait. And make money at the same time. Actually, wait. God, some of these go for quite a bit. Let's do, 1. What do you go for 70? Jesus. There. 1 goes for 88. My God. Okay, I basically just robbed this guy blind. That's fair.
So long.
Now I have monies, but not enough.
You must sweat.
Where? Oh, there's the door. Hello.
Geralt of Rivia, known as the White Wolf, the Butcher of Blaviken.
Geralt of Rivia's enough. What is it?
A man came to me a few years past, paid me to keep a book for you, said you'd come for it one day.
Who was he?
He didn't introduce himself. But the book has a red cover, that I remember. I'm sure I've not sold it.
All right, see if I can find it.
And perhaps glance at the others while you're at it.
Oh. Sure.
Be glad to look over what you got.
Okay. What? I have books. Is this needed? Hendrix notes. No. The Bear Legend book. Sell. Do-it-yourself book. Sell. Conjunction of the Spheres book. Journey to the... Oh, sell both of these. Nah, sell that too. There we go. I read that one. I've already read those. Cool, I didn't know I could do that. That's awesome. Okay. Now, wait, I need the red
Interested
book.
in books? You don't look the scholar, but we've ones with drawings as well.
Wow, what a dick.
Let's see these books of yours.
Or was it... Did he have it in the thing? Had a red cover. No. I mean, there's a couple that kind of look red, but I don't think that's what he meant.
Farewell.
Okay, wait. So, I'm looking for a book with a red cover. Oh, wait. The treatment of furnicles. Furuncles? Through cauterization.
The treatment of furuncles through cauterization.
Oh.
A study.
Okay. What about this one? My Manifesto, the life of Jacques de Alderbert.
My Manifesto. Must be it. There's a letter inside.
Ah. Letter inside. Letter from A. Witcher, in the ocean of possibility, some events are more likely and some less. It's not easy to fish out the first, not even when one's intellect stretches through all space and time. I left this letter for you in the hope that despite all odds, you will come across it one day, for I must warn you, mankind is threatened. The prophesied destruction by the White Frost is not just the babbling of some mad she-elf. Perhaps I will have the opportunity to convince you of this in person. If not, I must rely on this letter, which you will read many years from now, at a time where you know more than you did when we first met. That's usually how it goes. Know that nothing will save the world except preparing its entire population for this catastrophe. The old tales say a child of the elder blood can stave off the danger, but I tried and failed. Ever since I have been haunted by a hideous vision, a crowned wraith, the specter of my failure. I was the chosen one, and the chosen one failed. You and your brotherhood are our only hope. When the time of the wolf's blizzard comes, men shall perish, and only the Ubermen will survive. Your duty is to give the world Ubermen. Whatever you think of me, do not fail as I have failed. That's kind of heavy reading. Oh, loot. Take that too. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. Wait. Oh, can I do this? Okay, there's more. Yeah, I am a child. Fair. Great. Awesome. Fantastic. Yes. Will this work? I wonder. Hang on. No!
Ah, you're back.
No, I'm not back. Shush.
Farewell.
I was trying to loot. Okay. Read. Yes. Good. Okay. Good. Maybe. Now.
Ah, you're back.
Yes. Let me have a look.
Let's see these books of yours.
Yes. No. No. Yes, I have read all of them. Okay. I know I'm a cheap bastard, but that's actually really funny. I can just steal the guy's books and sell them to him.
Farewell.
That's actually really funny. Wait, was there another thing I could loot? No. Okay. Just double checking.
You've seen the new
How much money do I have now? 813. Merchant.
Come one, come all.
I'm trying.
Come one, come all.
Oh, God. Oh, that's armor. Ooh, you know what? Hang on.
Top-notch swords.
Show me what you have in stock.
Okay. How many times have you beaten this game before? Literally never. This is literally the first time I've ever played this. Yeah, literally first run. Mm-hmm. Hunting trousers I can sell. Nice. Sell those. Sell those. Sell those too. As with these. And these. And also these. Oh no, I'm enjoying the hell out of it. What is this? Wow. That's nice. How much does he want for it? Oh, God. Curious now which Bond girl... oh, God, let's not get into that one again. I mean, Witcher girl you will choose. You know, I'm gonna be honest. It's between Yennefer and Ciri. It just is. Like... Don't get me wrong, I like Triss, but it's Yennefer and it's Ciri. That's just kind of how it be. That does 9 more damage? Really? How much is this one? That goes for 54. That's not bad. What's this one go for? Goes for 56. I mean, I've already made an absolute killing off of this guy. Yen for life. Oh, God. I mean, to be fair, it is Yennefer. Hang on. I gotta save. Yes. Yes. Okay. I am gonna call it here now, though, for tonight. And I do want to thank everybody for hanging out. And yeah, I mean, it's Yen and it's Ciri. How can, like, that's kind of hard to pass up. But that is it for me for now. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We had Sober coming in for 37 months. It was great to see you, Sober. Thank you for the 37 months. We had Dawn coming in with a raid. Great to see you, buddy. Glad you're having fun with Death Stranding 2. We had Dawn, we had Emo Lee, we had Corgi, we had Myth, we had Bloop, we had Sophia here for a little while. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Really, really appreciate you. I will be back later on today, but until I see you all then, have yourselves a great day, great night, wherever you are. Be good to yourselves, be good to one another, stay safe, stay frosty, and of course, the #1 golden rule around here: try to remember some of the basics of CQC. And I will be seeing you all later on. Thanks so much, everybody. Oh, we also had Rainbow. Can't forget Rainbow. So thank you, everybody, for being here. And honestly, I had a crap day today, but I'm glad I could be here because you guys made mine. So thank you so much. I'm